staff saw from film for the Colorado game, and what you're looking forward to with this week with Oregon State?
Well, certainly it was another long Sunday, and we not trying to run away or hide from our issues or our problems. We know we've had them, and we're trying to all find answers for them. But we watched the film, try to get better, and our biggest message yesterday was about focusing on just playing ball and keeping the outside noise outside and trying to focus on getting better. Our seniors have done a lot in their careers, and we want them to end on a good note. And everybody's got to take a position that what can we do individually to make our team better, and that's where we're at right now.
You touched on it on Saturday, but out of curiosity, how would you describe your patience level right now?
It's probably better than I thought it would be, but at the same time, I have my moments where I go off, and I think everybody probably has that when you're frustrated and you're not winning and you're more accustomed to winning and not going through this before. It's extremely frustrating, and I don't have a lot of patience anyway. And I don't think probably any coach does, or for that point, too many of the players. So it's got to be important to them, and I think it is. But it's been without maybe the most frustrating year I've ever had. You know, I've had other bad years. Thankfully, I haven't had too many, but it's probably the most frustrating in a lot of ways. And that doesn't mean you're disappointed in everything. It just means you're frustrated in a lot of stuff.
Why do you think it's the most frustrating? What makes it?
Well, it just seems like there's just been it's one thing, then it's another thing, and you know you want to say, okay, then here's an example. Like in the we couldn't get any turnovers in the last game. We get a turnover and we turn it over right back before we get a chance to take advantage of the turnover, you know, or things like that. Or it's, you know, guys are playing hard, but it's frustrating that it turns out that way. And you know, the injuries you can't do much about. Everybody has them, but to have it hit all in one position again, and when it did and how it did, it makes it's tough. And that fact that, you know, you look at everything you're doing, how your players are working, how your coaches are working, and everything, you know, off-season program and all that, and it's the same. Or in some respects, you feel it's even better, yet is certainly not showing up on the results on the field. So that part is frustrating. And then if you're a fan, everybody, they can be critical and be frustrated and be disappointed. They should be. I mean, I would be shocked if they're not disappointed. But, you know, trust me, there's anything and everything we're looking at evaluating. I'll continue to do so. That's what I told our coaches yesterday. We got to continue to do what we can. I know we're going to be pretty good, and I think really good in the future, but I don't want to dismiss the last two games and do future right now. We owe it to the seniors for the next two games, and then we'll go to the future.
Rich, I think a lot of people thought that Anu might start last Saturday night. Why wasn't he able to get back to that?
Coach's decision, head coach's decision, to start the other guy.
I mean, is there?
Head coach's thoughts. I don't, yeah. Yeah, I don't know who's going to start this. Anu might start Saturday. They'll both play.
Have you noticed similar struggles between them, whether it be missing open receivers or just not progressing?
You know, I think if you really looked at it, I think I'm probably more critical, because when you don't win, you're probably more critical that we missed this touchdown or missed this opportunity here. But if you go back, you probably had them in games that you won in the past too. You just didn't seem to focus on it as much. Now you focus on, gosh, you know, the second play of the game, this game, we had a touchdown. If we'd have just executed saw the right thing. And so those things probably stand out more when you're losing than obviously in the games that you win. But we're at the point where when you're really particularly with field position, because our field position, I don't know the stats, but in all my years of coaching, I don't know if I've ever had an average worst starting field position for an entire season as this year. I don't even know what it is. I don't need to look at it. It's just awful. And so when you have to go 80 or 90 yards every time, and you're only defending 40 or 50, you got to defend 40 or 50 yards only every time. It's tough to win, especially when you're not that good to begin with. So The quarterback play is, I'm always really critical of it because I expect a lot out of them, but I think we got a couple guys that can be pretty good. We just got to get better.
Has Brandon improved at any sort of rate that would appease you?
Yeah, he has. There were seen moments in the last game, but boy, he's pretty good. But then there's other times like, gosh, we think we would hit that. So, and he's trying, or it's not like he's not trying. There's been some improvement. I think it's always harder to judge that when you don't win. And that was a pretty good defense. I thought our guys moved the ball and did some good things. If you look at what Colorado did against some other teams defensively, our guys, they did execute some things and they did move the ball. We just didn't finish drives. We missed some kicks and we messed up in the red zone a few times. So those are things that we can't afford to do to win.
How was did you think about challenging the Nate Phillips fumble, especially after the previous week they ruled that?
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. One of the coaches brought that up. I could see it. I could see the replay that he had it and made a move and then he dropped it. But if that was a catch, I would have thought that Trey Griffey's was a catch. If that's what you're asking, it's ironic you asked that because when somebody brought that up to me yesterday, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, But I thought it was a catch and a fumble, but I thought Trey Griffey's was a catch too.
Did they indicate to you that they had reviewed it?
Well, they review every play. And there's enough time. Sometimes if the play's getting rushed, somebody's trying to fast huddle, if their review hadn't had a chance to review it, they'll stop the play. But every play is getting reviewed. And so it got reviewed, but I'm not there. And going to the officials, obviously it was frustrating. I was probably as frustrated as I've ever been because I don't know if I've ever had that many penalties. And certainly some of the penalties were not very smart on our part. It was silly and it was uncharacteristic. But there were a couple that we'll turn in. I want to see the intentional grounding. I thought there was somebody in the area. There was a post cut called on us, a high-low, which I didn't think was a penalty because we wasn't blocking them high. They were holding us. The guy was holding us and keeping us from going anywhere. And so there was some stuff, but some of the other penalties were just uncharacteristic and shouldn't happen.
Rich, when you guys were reviewing the running back situation a few weeks ago and before making the decision to go with Samaje, how much thought did you guys give at all to maybe putting Sean Brown in that position?
Well, he played a little. If you notice in that game, he played a little bit of running back for us in the last game. We just, we wanted to we had to put somebody there, and Samaje was the most experienced guy, and was wanting to do it. Sean could probably do it too, but Samaje's been a big move. I think he's played really well for a guy that's been there for a few weeks.
Could that help him with pro scouts? Just the fact
I-
that he's
I
willing
think
to
so.
do it, or that he's versatile.
I think so. I think he's going to have a chance, because he loves football, and he's a smart football player. In other words, he understands schemes and concepts, and he's a talented guy. Really proud of him.
Rich, when you have two senior wide receivers collide on a route, what does that speak to? Does that speak to lack of concentration? Does that speak
Speaks to frustrations. That never happened before. These are two veteran guys, and it's they're supposed to come close, but they've never collided in that route in practice or in a game in 4 years. Frustrating.
Speaking to your earlier point, though, where do you draw the line? How do you distinguish between the difference between being disappointed and being frustrated?
I think it's both. Hell, if you're not disappointed, you're not a competitor. But you don't give up on them. I think whether you're disappointed or frustrated or anywhere in between, you're not going to give up and say we're not going to quit working and getting better at it. The frustrating part is that we are working on it. You see moments where they're playing well, or you see moments when they practice really well. What's in the water? I don't know. But you're not going to say, oh, woe is me, it's going to happen again. You're going to say there's going to be a time when you don't have anything screw up and it's all going to click and everybody be happy.
thoughts on Oregon State? I mean, you could easily look at this and say this is a game of two struggling teams. You
Two
see-
struggling teams, that's right. But they remind me a little bit, I guess, where Colorado was a year ago or 2 years ago, where they've clearly gotten better, and they're in a lot of close games. They've lost some close games. They've got some skill guys. They believe in what they're doing. So it kind of reminds me of where they're at. And we're struggling, obviously, big time. So I'm sure they look at it as an opportunity for them to put something together and try to get a win, just like we are.
The fact that the game is starting so late at night, is that
Yeah,
frustrating to you?
yeah. You know, I think I've said it many times, and you guys have heard me. You can't control it, so I guess there's no need to worry about. I get upset the first few hours I hear it because it's ridiculous that these what they put these kids through to be on a 7:30, 8:30 kickoff, and then get back 4 or 5 in the morning, and then we're going to turn around and play the next Friday. And probably I think ASU's on the road too, maybe playing a later game, but. I mean, for the sake of the Pac-12 network, I think that's what it's on, right? It's it's not fair. I don't like it. I don't know if the players probably don't complain too much, but fans, I'm sure, don't like it. It's ridiculous how many times we've played night games at Arizona. And I understand early in the year we're going to play at home at night because of the heat, and that's better for our fans. But Pac-12 after dark, it's not. It's in the early morning by the time your kids get home, and you get home. So, but I'll complain about it. Nothing. Greg will complain about it, and other coaches will complain about it. I don't know what the stats are if we've played more late night games than anybody in the league or not, but. Seems like we're way up there.
When you were on TV, did you ever get to talk to some executives that maybe explained or kind of how it works to you?
Oh, I mean, I know how the system works. They have the networks, which they pay big money, so they have the right to do. They're able to pick which games they want and what slot they have, and I think that changes from week to week, and we're at the mercy of them. But as a coaching. I also think it's my job as a coach to see what's best for the program, particularly for the players. I think you could say, well, they can rest on the way home, or they can rest on Sunday, or whatever. I mean, they'll fall asleep on a plane, but when you got to get on a plane and then, there's security, and then get on a bus, and it's 4 or 5 in the morning, you're not sleeping as well as you are in your own bed. But it's and it seems like our league. That's probably maybe it's because it's West Coast, whatever, has an inordinate amount of late night games, and I think it's like I said, I don't particularly like it, and we all enjoy the revenue we get, but how much revenue are we getting? I don't know. Pac-12 networks, that's Greg, but Greg argues for us, and I think other. ADs maybe too a little bit, but I said I'll complain about it and then not worry about it again until we do it again the next time they give it to us again. Crazy.
Do they seek, like having lots of former coaches on staff as analysts, the TV, do they ever seek the advice of guys like you or guys that are other former coaches into the way that they rank those games and the way that they...
Oh, hell no. No, hell they don't. I mean, they're happy to get us for a half-hour conference call, leading up to the game. And, I did that analyst thing a few years ago, and, you're just trying to, we're not asking any coach, what do you think about night? Because you already know what they think about late-night road games. If you're the road team, especially. Home team, that's one thing. But if you're the road team, you're thinking, gosh, you're going to get home 5. I don't know a coach that says, yeah, I can't wait to get home 5 or 6 in the morning on Sunday. That's just perfect for our schedule. So, every coach, I'm sure, doesn't like that. But to do it, it seems like we've done it an inordinate amount of times in 5 years. Did somebody tell me the other day when we played the one-day game? Of course, we played awful, so maybe we shouldn't even bring that up. But that was like the 7th time, only the 7th time in 5 years we had a day game? Or something. I don't know what the stat was, but yeah.
12 this year, 7:30 or later.
Yeah. Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Are you Concerned about Josh Pollock's confidence at all after a game like that on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm concerned about my confidence in him, you know, but no, I'm not. I think, well, am I concerned? Sure, I'm concerned about everybody's confidence. And, you got to be honest with it. I mean, as a kicker, you only get so many opportunities, and so when you don't maybe have a day you want to have, it can affect your confidence. But I know he's capable, and he knows he's capable, and he's still going to be our starting kicker. No, our starting punter, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it might be Jake Gladding, it could be Matt Aragon, it could be Josh, but he's been pretty good with field goals most of the year, and then just was off on Saturday. But I've got confidence that he can do the job, and he should have confidence too, because he can.
Is Edgar on track to kick off Saturday?
No, I don't think Edgar's probably going to play again. Yeah, that's pretty severe ball getting hit in the head deal, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. One of those, are you kidding me deals? Yeah. So, but I don't know if that concussion, I don't say that. I'm not going to say the concussion is the reason he might not be playing, but I wouldn't expect to see him suited up. Put it that way.
Anything more for Coach? Okay.